On a Monday morning in April, as the noon hour approached, thousands of hopeful would-be settlers lined up ready to begin a new chapter in their lives. Many were riding horses. Others awaited anxiously with their families in covered wagons. Some were on foot. It's even said that one man was on a bicycle. The date was April 22nd, 1889, and history was about to be made in Indian Territory. In March of 1889, President Benjamin Harrison signed the Indian Appropriations Bill, which opened nearly 2 million acres of unassigned land to white settlement in the center of Indian Territory. For those interested, 160 acres of land was free for those who staked a claim. Participants had to be at least 21 years old and an American citizen. Their only cost was a $14 filing fee. Owners of the land would be determined in an unconventional way called a land run, which required settlers to race to a plot of land and stake a claim. On the morning of April 22nd, somewhere between 50 to 60,000 settlers waited along all four borders of the unassigned lands. The night before, many impatient settlers had illegally crossed the border and hid in the woods, waiting to stake their claim. They would soon earn the name Sooners, while other participants would be known as the 1889ers. Edward and Alma Childers, along with their newborn son Winifred, traveled from Kansas to take part in the first great rush for free government land. They would be one of Edmond's first residents. Alma would later tell her family in a letter about the experience.
It was a sight indeed. Everyone was so excited they couldn't stand still. All of the men along the South Canadian River got as far in the river as they possibly could without sinking in the quicksand, and there waited for the hour of noon to come.
When the time was 12 o'clock, the sound of a cavalry bugle rose through the clear blue air. In Fort Reno, a cannon fired. The first Oklahoma land run was on.
Moved by the same impulse, each driver lashed his horses furiously. Each rider dug his spurs into his willing steed, and each man on foot caught his breath hard and darted forward. A cloud of dust rose where the homeseekers had stood in line, and when it had drifted away before the gentle breeze, the horses and wagons and men were tearing across the open country like fiends. The horsemen had the best of it from the start. Some of the men who started from the line on foot were quite as successful in securing desirable claims as many who rode fleet horses. One man left the line with the others, carrying on his back a tent, a blanket, some camp dishes, an axe, and provisions for 2 days. He ran down the railway track for 6 miles and reached his claim in just 60 minutes. Upon arriving on his land, he fell down under a tree, unable to speak or see. I am glad to be able to say that his claim is one of the best in Oklahoma. William Willard Howard, Harper's Weekly, May 1889.
Traveling north out of Purcell, a double-engine train approached Edmond. On board, many eager passengers were waiting to stake their claim in Guthrie. But a female reporter for the Dallas Morning News was determined to claim a piece of land in Edmond, even though the train wasn't stopping. Her name was Nanita Daisy, later known as Kentucky Daisy. Legend has it that she persuaded the train's engineer to let her ride the train's cowcatcher.
You see, I'd been in this territory a good deal, and I had a good claim picked out. It's about 20 miles south of Guthrie, just alongside the railroad. I got on the first train the day it was opened, got on the engine. Jiminy, but it was exciting. When I got in sight of my claim, I gave the engineer a signal. He began to slow up. Nearly everybody on the train had heard about me, and I tell you, there was excitement. I got all my things ready. I had my cloak, a revolver, and my 2 claim stakes with my name on them. When I got even with my claim, I gave a jump while the train was in motion. The engineer, did not dare stop the train still. I landed feet first, you can bet your life, while everybody in the cars yelled, "Hurrah for Nanita Daisy!" As the train went by, I planted my stakes, threw my cloak over one, then fell on my knees and discharged my revolver in the air, exclaiming, "Thus I salute the Kentucky Daisy's claim!" Nanita Daisy, May 7th, 1892.
And she ran back to the train just in time to catch the caboose. Her story was covered by every single major newspaper in the nation. That morning, before the land run's official start date, Edmond Station was just a water and coal stop for trains. Santa Fe worker John Steen and his family, along with a few railroad workers, were Edmond Station's only residents. By nightfall, the population had grown to 150 people. 4 major groups strived for control of the new settlement. One was a group of surveyors from the Seminole Town Site Company. They had prepared a town plat ahead of time and were already selling town lots. Then there was a large group from Chicago, Illinois, who arrived by train. Another train brought a group from Springfield, Missouri. On April 23rd, they all met around a rousing campfire to discuss leadership. They elected city officials and resolved that the town be surveyed into 25 by 140 feet lots. Finally, they discussed the new name of the settlement. The group from Chicago wanted to name it Burge City, after one of its leaders, but the majority of those present agreed that the name should remain Edmond. Santa Fe Railway had originally named the station Edmond after Edmund Schuler Burdick, an official with the railway. Burdick was trained as a lawyer at the University of Wisconsin and was a Santa Fe traveling freight agent. In 1891, Edmund Burdick had the opportunity to visit Edmond. He visited the site for the new normal school, now known as the University of Central Oklahoma. As a freight agent, Burdick told city leaders that the railroad would help transport building materials for the school at a greatly reduced rate. An article in the Edmond Sun said that he was very pleased with his tour of Edmond and found it to be a source of pleasure that the town was named after him. Learn more about the history of Edmond, the Oklahoma Land Run, and Edmond's first settlers by visiting the Edmond Historical Society and Museum at 431 South Boulevard.